my beloved Christar family. This video is going to be a little bit of an intro and going over some of the sound technologies. We're going to go into this a whole lot more, but we got to start somewhere. And I'm going to blend a few different types of methodologies or techniques in order for you to basically begin to get a deeper understanding of it, to start to work with it within yourself. How are you guided? How are your guides guiding you to work with some of the seed syllables, the bijas, the sound tones? How are you being guided to work with sounds, with Keylon codes, symbols, mantras, yantras, so on and so forth? That we want to recognize that there are many, many different types of sound technologies and light technologies. And our guardians have been helping to keep all of this embedded here within our consciousness in one way or another. And as it gets brought forward for us, we want to make sure that we're working with the ones that feel really resonant, right? Because here's the thing. There's a lot of benefit from many of these different technologies, and you want to find the ones that resonate and mean the most for you. So today we're going to concentrate on a little bit of some of the Keylontic or the Keylons and some of the Bijas or some of the Shakti mantras that have a little bit more to do in alignment with Kundalini. And I'm going to begin to prep for working with Technique 1 from the Dance for Life book. So again, we're looking at what are mantras and bijas, sound tones, building blocks, what are these Keylon codes, and really starting to just lightly, very lightly touch into what is some of this cymatics or the sound technology that we are working with. So mantras is really important to know that there are mantras or words for absolutely everything. Language is really the building block of creation. In the beginning was the word. We know that the sound or the pre-sound fields emanate the pre-light fields. And we're going to look at some graphs around that. So within this, we're going to realize that mantras are actually connected to every culture and all creation. So everything from different practices around the world, whether or not you look at it from the ideas of mantras, say individuals working with malas, even the Druidic teachings, prayers and synagogues and all the songs and the sounds and all of these things, there's actually a root basis for all of this. That even when we look at the indigenous tribes and their songs around the fire or the sound tones or the instruments that are used in order to emanate different states of consciousness, this is all the same thing. It's just, again, coming from a different culture, a different perspective, a different way of looking at it, but they are all emanating from the original core of creation, which is that sound, and sound technology is literally what is holding our entire universal systems really together and creating all of the morphogenetic fields and patterns. And when we start to learn to work with them, we're going to realize that sounds are the templates of creation that manifest the different realities. So I'm going to show a couple of things here. Now let's start to tie in with the idea of Keylon codes. So within Voyagers 1, we really started to get introduced to Keylontic or Keylon codes and Keylon symbols that can help us repattern different channels of awareness within ourselves, reconnect us to higher stations of ourselves, to begin to help us reintegrate ourselves into higher consciousness beings. So we're going to look at Keylons, and I've actually pulled up a website here, ascensiondictionary.com. And if you wanted, you could also look up Keylons through the Voyagers materials as well. But we're going to do this here because this individual has made a great resource for all of us here. And this is basically extracting different informations from these teachings. And what we want to see right here, it's one of the 6 primary elements of the science of Keylonta, that a Keylon is a composite of ultra, micro, electro, electrotonal energy units called particuli. Keylons group with other keylons to form dimensionalized crystalline structures of energy that exist as a base morphogenetic form-holding template, or a morphogenetic field. Behind and within all matter forms, particles, and consciousness is this morphogenetic field. Keylons compose the frequency fields of sound and light upon which the entire cosmic matrix is structured, which is the unified field of cosmic energy, and is composed of groups of crystalline keylons, and also compose the morphogenetic template of electrotonal and electromagnetic energy, upon which the human DNA, the genetic code, the physical body, the bioenergetic chakra system, and the multidimensional aspects of consciousness, which is the spiritual body, are all built upon. Okay, so I'm just going to read that bit for this portion, but you can already see that Keylons basically, again, they're ultra micro electrotonal energy units, or called particuli. And so let's go ahead and dive into some other ways of looking at this. So now we know Keylon codes, they really do. They work with the sounds. They also work with colors and symbols. They work on us from the inside, and then they affect all that we perceive or that is projected of what we think of as outside. So this is why they are form holding and create morphogenetic fields. And they are really the building blocks or templates of how we would manifest our reality around us. Now let's look at this a little bit from the perspective of mantras and working, say, with Sanskrit energies. And I'm primarily going to focus on the Shakti mantras. So the Shakti mantras have to do with, say, the tantras or the Kundalini energy. And they are built upon something called Bijas or Bija mantras. Now, Bija, B-I-J-A, means seed. So a Shakti mantra is really going to have these seed syllables or seed sounds that it's associated with. And so if you would think about this, that these are the base sounds that are building, or the building blocks of creation or manifestation. I have us here on a website. I just typed this up really quick because there are many resources where you can find these. And these, again, are the Shakti Bija mantras. These have to do with building your Kundalini energy. So the entire building, the internal building of your Keylon codes. And so this is yogapaper.com/Shakti Bija mantras. You can also just Google Shakti Bija mantras, but I want to show you there are 10 basic Shakti Bija mantras. And within these, I liked this site because it actually kind of goes through them quite easily. We have over here Om, Aim, Hreem, Kleem, Hum, Kreem, Kleem, Shreem, Stream, Treem. Each one corresponds to what is referred to as a different Devi. But remember, again, what are the seed syllables or the seed mantras? Even when you look at it, and even as you dive further into the Keylontic materials, you're going to recognize these are the angels. So they also help to build up our energy within us. If we're made of it and our sound tones become kind of washed out or out of tune, then we start to become less vibrant in the way that we move our Kundalini energy or our starfire energy or our energy currents through our channels, our vertical Hara channel line, or any of our axitonial lines. So the more we work with our chakras, the more our etheric body now can begin to activate the cosmic life force through us, specifically into these energy systems, such as our axitonial lines, our meridian lines, and through our entire body. So I do want to take a moment to read this over here on the right-hand side, and I'm going to show you the book that this comes from because it's just a great little quick read. And this is coming from the book, The Holy Chakras, which is actually just a compilation of different statements from Paramahansa Yogananda. And it says chakras as sub-centers. The spinal cord may be likened to a wire. In it are located these 7 centers of light, which are the sub-centers for the conduction and distribution of life current throughout the body. The body is nothing but a condensation of its spinal energy. Just as invisible hydrogen and oxygen atoms can be condensed into visible vapor, water, and ice, so light can be transformed into body, which is nothing but frozen energy. Isn't that beautiful, you guys? It's really, interchangeable. It's exactly basically the same thing that is being said with the Keylons is its form holding, right? And so now as we look at it, we want to realize that the more we have the ability to invoke these Bijas or these Keylon sounds, the stronger we can direct what the keys can do with manifesting and creating our reality, right? So this is important as we start to remember our energy center, our Kundalini, and our Hara, which is our central vertical channel. But our Hara line, Ha Ra, is actually created of 2 Bijas. I really want to start to use some of the base Anuhazi language with the terminology that is already embedded here on Earth. So we can realize that the Anuhazi language, which is our original language, it's the oldest known language within this universal Vecca system, 15-dimensional system, and it comes from the Andromedan Mother Galaxy. It has come to us from our founders' races, and it's the first spoken language within creation. So the Anuhazi language is, bar none, it is so powerful to work with. And a lot of the Keylon codes run off of this Anuhazi language. Now, the Bijas and a lot of the mantras that are said here on Earth actually have a lot of their core or collaboration with these. And so this is where I'm going to invite you to start to work with these. So now as we look at Ha Ra, we're seeing this as Ha Ra. These are 2 Bijas. These are 2 seed sounds. Now, spoiler alert for another video, seed sounds or Bijas are angels. And that's all I'm going to say about that for right now, but just lock that away as just something to come back to. But the Bijas or the seed sounds are actually angels. So these are part of creation and consciousness. So we want to remember we're not just saying words, we are evoking consciousness and different types of consciousness as we say it. And so as we piece together what we are really wanting to consciously bring into creation, we become more fluent in this light language. So we aren't stuck just saying it in particular ways, but you can actually start to learn to create your own mantras, if you will. So when the Hara line or the central vertical channel is awakened, you can chant the sound now utilizing these Bijas or these sounds or these sound tones, and the sound now will have more power. So this is why they go together. Like we could sit and go mantra, 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 but if you are not doing the internal work to start to build your body and your capability to run more currency of energy or starfire through you, then the sound is going to be like a very weak connection, like as if you had speakers that the lines were very weak and the sound was all crackly, not really coming out. The more you build your starfire, your Hara line, your Kundalini energy centers, your chakras, your nadis, all of these vitality points within you, the more you are creating a stronger and stronger connection through all your channels. And it's like, woo, the sound comes on and the power gets activated. So very quickly, I just want to show you this PDF, this manual. It's really short. It's only like 10 pages long. It's available online. You can also get it from the books and PDF section to really just read some of these beautiful, beautiful statements. So this is the one we already looked at. But recognizing again, chakras, here's just one more. Chakras, doors to the infinite. In passing from the consciousness of the body to that of the spirit, one experiences these 7 sub-dynamic doors of energy fixed in the astral cerebral spinal axis. The soul must leave the physical, astral, and spiritual bodies through the 7 astral doors in order to reach and merge into the spirit. After it lifts its consciousness from the physical body, it must unlock and pass through the 7 astral doors in the spine. So this is so beautiful, you guys. I could keep reading and reading these. But please just know this is here to really get through these. Paramahansa Yogananda had just such a beautiful, loving, really connected way in which he shared. But if you really look at what he was saying, he was really pinpointing us, pointing us in the direction of where the power lies, what we need to work on. And he was not shy about, where he was maybe inspiring us to spend our life focusing upon, because, within this, it's really about the inward journey. Chakras as the true religion. I just want to read one more. Maybe two, the importance of the body. No matter what religion one professes, as he comes closer to real salvation, he is confronted with the necessity of opening the 7 seals of energy and flesh in order to free the soul from the bondage of the body and unite it with the spirit. The chakra's importance for the body. The 7 plexus located in the spine are centers of light that distribute the life currents throughout the body, with the main dynamo in the brain and the lower dynamo at the base of the spine. These life currents vitalize and support the functions of the whole body. So let's just jump right over here now to the Dance for Life book. And as we look at the Dance for Life book, this is going to be the Life, Love, Freedom. And I'm on page 28 right here, but let me just go to the top of the book so you can actually see the cover. Here's the Dance for Life. This is part of the Freedom Teaching Series, Life, Love, Freedom, Shadow Body Healing, and Flame Body Activation. I really do love this book. This is where we are going to be moving through quite a bit of these techniques. So let's go back to page 28. And as we look at this, as we're actually here on 27, just again, remembering what was Paramahansa Yogananda saying, we didn't even get into all of the Bijas. And I will actually end with showing you a few of these Bijas to work with after I show you the Keylon sound tones. Now, as we look at these, we're seeing right in here, here's all the chakra systems, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are actually going to be over here on the left hand side, and they are working with just our base chakras 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7 basic ones we know about. But when we start to work with Keylontic, we're now adding a whole other ascension mechanic level to it. Now we have something known as the 8 morphogenetic chakras, which we know that the 8th, you might hear me mention over and over. I love to talk about the 8th chakra, which is a morphogenetic chakra, and it's where our higher heart sits. So it's near the thymus. And then we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So basically, these are the 15 chakras that correspond to our 15-dimensional time matrix. Each of them has a correspondence to a color that you can work with. And as you work with different colors, you also are activating not only through what we're going to see as sound, but you're also activating through color. And so let's go ahead. I'm not going to go too much into the different chakra layers. I apologize. This particular document that I have is not in color. But if you go into the pictures, links, you can actually go ahead and get this in color, where you would see that all of these are going to be the different layers, that now each chakra isn't just a chakra, but it also corresponds to a different layer within our body field, all the way out into the 15th sphere. Now, here's where I want to start diving in. So for those of you that have done the Seals and Implants course, this will be familiar for you, because this is going to be working with the Ku Da Ra Veka codes, which are the primary sound tones or Keylon codes and symbols that really help us begin to disband any of the Metatronic overlays or specifically the J seals within our body. So here we go. Now, what we want to see again is that the universal life force currents is coming through these different layers, different bands. And the Kundalini has 3 levels here. So we're seeing that it has the energy matrix, the ecadic and the polaric and the triadic, okay? So what I want to do is start all over here. We work quite a bit with the Ekasha symbol. Now the Ekasha symbol is the universal God seed, and its tone is the a e tre I na e. And then we could also then afterwards say Ekasha. A e tre I na e Ekasha. Now, as we look at this, you see the arrow goes down, and that little teardrop would be the symbol there. And then we have the Ra Veka, the Da Veka, and the Ku Veka. Well, let me just say these sound tones for you. And we have the 3 sound tones that we would use again to begin to clear out J seals would be Ku Shar Deza, Da Dru Asia, Ra Eka. So now, where are we getting this from? Well, these right here, Ku, Da, Ra, if you look over to the left over here, you'll see Shardeza, Dru, A, Asia, Eka. So now you're seeing these are the sound tones that correspond to these Kundalini primal sound fields. Okay, so what are we saying again? Sounds, the Bijas are everything. Sound creates everything, right? And our 15-dimensional time matrix. So dimensions, as we start to look at it, 13, 14, and 15 are going to be the Ku, Da, Ra, and they are the Kunda Re. They are the primal sound fields that then manifest and step down into the Ki Ra She, the primal light fields. Okay, so then this would be the founder flames. These would be the founder races right here in Harmonic Universe 5, which is the blue flame, the gold flame, and the violet flame, the Trinity flame, and the founders races right here is in the Ki Ra She. The primal light fields, Triveka code, Trion field, and then as it steps down one more time, now we're getting into physical, starting to move into fields of creation, which would be the Maharata. So for those of you, again, that have been working with some of these sound tones, Maharata, Ra, Sha, La. What are we saying again? We are connecting the liquid light fields of creation with the Ra, Sha, La, which is actually connecting beyond this Veka system. So starting to connect to dimensions 16, 17, 18. So we're not going to get too complicated here, but I just want to show you this image really quick so you start to get an idea of where are these sound tones coming from. Well, they are coming from the different harmonic bands and layers and universal life force currents that are creating the entire 15-dimensional time matrix that we live in. This is very scientific energy. And so when you see certain things in here, you're going to see that, we have things like magnetic repulsion zones that create separation between harmonic universes, that each one has to be separated in order for there to be integrity between each of the realities and realms for each of them to exist in different realms, worlds, creatures, beings, species to exist within them. Now, here's where we're going to get into what we might think of as the Bijas or the seed sounds. And so you get a little bit more understanding of why are you saying what you're saying. So now let's look at this from the seed syllables of creation. We've really, again, kind of looked at the different domains and the different levels. Now let's really look at this as the 15 rays that create our 12 domains, or the 12 spheres in our tree of life, that touch into the concepts of the 7 higher heavens and the 7 lower heavens, which is a concept that we know very well, say, from Vedic cosmology, of the 7 higher lokas and the 7 lower lokas. So let's just look at some of these sound tones again. So again, we have the E, Ka, Sha. And when we work with the E, Ka, Sha, again, we are really starting to connect with the energies of the still point, or the void of creation. And then we're working with the mother field and the father field. So mother is pre-sound. Mother is the basis of creation. We know that sound is the building block. And so when we look at it from this perspective, we're actually seeing this energy of basically the mother vibration being the one that is closest to where creation is stepping down. And so now as we look at this, we're seeing that the ire is the sha, the mane is the ka, and the manu, or the void, is the ek. So we have the e, ka, sha. When we are saying this, we are really pulling energy of this Trinity field of the Partike, the Partike, and the Particum. And these are the building blocks of creation. You can see it right in here within this book. It goes into rayons, rayons, ions, neutrons. Partike goes into trions, ectrons, dions, electrons. Particum goes into mesons, eons, myons, protons. Now, I don't I don't work with a lot of, like, the sciences to even be that versed a lot of times with to tell you how an electron, a proton, and a neutron is working, within the cells of the body. I have enough to know that it's like, okay, get the visual, right? That we have the visual of at least the energy moving, kind of that Trinity dance that's going through us. But even though a lot of this information, it can be very, very heady, I'm not inviting you to go down that path unless that's something you really want to do. You don't need to know all of that in order for these sound tones to be so powerful for you. All you really need to know within your heart is, I am connecting to the Trinity God field of the Ekasha. I acknowledge I am connecting to the original sound particles of all creation, and I am pulling that in as the light oscillations within me as the Keylon codes, right? You're just recognizing that you are organizing your light to be in alignment to the divine realms. Just that simple. Please don't get too complicated if it's not your passion to go into these sciences. It's not needed. Now, very quickly, I just want to read these tones to you. And so that you can see that all of these are like the dimensional bands. Remember, the magnetic bands help to keep them separated from each other so that each harmonic universe can have its own levels of existence. Well, within each one, it's different elements, or it's different energy fields, right? So each, say, electron, proton, neutron, as it moves into lighter and lighter, or higher and higher dimensional bands of creation, they become different types of particles. That's how it moves from our carbon-based system to our silica-based system to our crystalline-based system into the pure liquid light fields of creation, and then beyond that to just pure sound fields. So within this is just for you to see, these are the Bijas, or the seed sounds. Now, we got over here in the Rayon fields is Rei, and then it goes to E and Ra. So those are just the same thing stepped down. The Mejon fields is going to be Da, Ha, Di. Same energy, just a different vibration and a different composition within each of the harmonic fields. The Trion Mejon fields is going to be from the triadic, and it's the Q, Q, K. So again, same thing, just step down. Now, as we get to look at this, again, we are working now, as we work with dimensions 10, 11, and 12, it's the Ki, Ra, She, right here, Kirashe. Now, with this, we're going to now step it down from, sorry, I said the wrong dimensions. I'm looking at the numbers here. Dimensions 13, 14, and 15, we have the blue flame, the gold flame, the violet flame. Kirashe. Now, as we work with this, what is it going to do? Dimensions 15, 14, and 13 are going to step down. And now we are going to start to move into 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, where we work with the elements or the units that we are aware of. So let me read these terms to you. So we have the top layer of each one is going to be Ma'a, Yana, Traya, Re. Now, within this, I want to just show you something really quick because we're going to come back to this. Ma'a, Yana, Traya, Re. You see that? This is what the song or the song is that you're singing. And within this, it looks like it's just a bunch of words together, but we're realizing, no, it's not. It's really powerful. We're saying Ma'a, Yana, Traya, Re. What are we saying over here? We're coming back. It's the top of each of these. Ma'a, Yana, Traya, Re. Right there. Okay. Hara, Maya, Mana, Ki. Ta'a, Mira, Prana, Chi. Okay. So now as you have a little bit of an understanding where some of these are coming from, you're going to get to play with these. And just to know, this copy isn't very good within here, but once you start to work with the sound tones in the lower heavens up to 12, now we're looking at working with 13, 14, 15, which again is the ki, ra, she, right? But then you start to see the other ones. Ke, hu, ku, di, ha, da, ra, I, re. Okay, so those are the Bijas. What does a Bija mean again? Seed. What does it say right here in the Keylontic materials? Seed. You guys, I want to tie these together so that you don't feel like you have to pick one or the other. You are now getting the interpretation of learning this language so that you can begin to work with it so that you can start to see what actually crosses over, and you're going to find so much crosses over. So within that, we're just going to read this through one time. And then there's going to be a separate audio that just goes through this in multiple times like a mantra so that you can basically work with what is known as the magic words of co-creation, embodying the in-breath and out-breath of God. These are the sacred Surya Sones or the radial body Akasha Merkaba tonal activation sequence. So what it's basically saying is that it's helping to build your body, your radial body, in order for you to activate more and more of these tonal energies within you so that you can build your energy, your power, your force through it. So within this, you're going to see it is the request, the directive, the creation, the projection. Okay, so the first thing we're doing is hailing the Akasha God force, and then we're going to do the in-breath, setting your intention and embedding the energy. The third is you're going to pause, set the intention of creation, and the fourth is you're going to take the out breath, the intention manifestation, which is again the projection. Okay, so within there, it would be again kind of the opening, the request, the opening of the mantra. A e tre ina e kasha. A e tre ina e kasha. A e tre ina e kasha. The in breath. Ire she ra di ke she ta'a mire prana chi. The pause. Manu ek rei da ku ki'i ma'ayana trei re. That's the creation. The out breath. Setting the intention into manifestation. Mane ka I ha hu Ra, Hara, Maya, Mana, Ki. And then we would end. All mantras end with an ending. Asha, Alum, Ta, Ekasha, De. Ashalum, Ta, Ekasha, De. Ashalum, Ta, Ekasha, De. So it is very important for us to start to learn the light language, learn the language of what we are toning into creation as we begin to utilize these sacred songs, sones, mantras, Keylon activations that do have symbols. Many of them have mudras, so different ways we would work with our hands, our fingers, yantras or symbols, and then sounds or mantras that we would work with. Each of these are all technologies for activating our bodies in order to becoming accelerated or oscillating at a level in order to create portals for our consciousness to travel. So with so much love, you guys, I hope that you can take some of this information that we've played with so that you can begin to get a little bit of a foundation or some building blocks in order to start to find familiarity with these sounds, so that as you start to piece them together, you start to have a little bit more of an emotion or an energy or a conscious awareness of what you are now in-breathing and out-breathing and manifesting into creation. So with so much love, thank you so much.